Thinking of your book, one thing that always settled to me was keeping your voice consistent. So if you're going to write a flashback in a particular manner, because there's like 50 ways to do them. But if you're going to do it one way, keep it consistent. So that way, even if it isn't totally standard, at least it makes sense. And I was wondering if you could just kind of elaborate on that for me.
Okay. Consistent is one word. The other word is clear.
Okay.
Be clear and consistent in how you're doing things, and that'll pay off for you to some extent. But
yeah,
clarity is so important with readers reading fast. You can't afford to lose or confuse a reader. And what just popped into my mind when I said that is my own personal little bias. When I see on page 1, a man walks into the room, and then on page 7, we finally name him. Make it easy on your reader. Name your characters at the moment they first appear in the screenplay, unless you have a dramatic purpose for not doing that.
Right. And that is so true. I actually just worked on a script for a student that there's like 3 named characters, and then everything else is just like the mailman. And it's so much more than just like consistency and clarity, but also if that script gets sold, right? If it gets made, that actor would love to have a credit as a named character and not just be guy number 3, So absolutely, that's very true.
That's true. Now, if you have a lot of characters, you may have to use labels for some of your characters, but rather than guy number 1, guy number 2, and guy number 3, characterize them. Nervous guy, snotty man, chubby lady, whatever. I mean, you want to color every character. You want to everyone deserves some characterization, even if they're a very minor character.
That's brilliant tip.
Don't forget to do that. And that's one thing I see a lot in scripts of developing writers, is characters that are pretty flat and are simply not well characterized. They're not standing out. You want to, if you have 2 characters that are together a lot, it's usually best to contrast them.
Yep.
Because defining one helps define the other. They define each other because they're so different from each other.
That's true.
Shakespeare used to do this with all of his central characters have a foil, we call them.
Yeah.
So it helps define who that central character is. So don't be afraid to provide an adjective or 2 that describes the personality of your character when you introduce the character. It's okay to do that.
Yeah.
So we have a sense, this person's a control freak or whatever they are like.
Yeah. That's
one of my favorite introductions of a character. Came from a client. She wrote, Tina, 46, dresses too young for her age and gets away with it. I thought, okay, I got Tina. That helps me understand something about Tina.
No, that's great.
And that's part of entertaining your reader and helping them enjoy the read, so that they are going to recommend you in their coverage.
Yeah, I mean, it adds to the world building factor. It makes it interesting, not just using generic characters. I totally agree with you. See, now you're rolling me into Dave. You're rolling me into character description, right?
Okay.
Because the big thing here, right? The big thing we had with the Me Too movement, which was great. It really highlighted a big flaw in the industry where people would write, if it was Tina, we could say, Tina 30s blonde bombshell, right? And that was a big issue. And looking at it, that really was a prevalent issue. Like everywhere you read it, it was always about how hot or attractive physically were. And I'm starting to see that finally trend away, and you're getting to more of, like you said, nervous control freak, almost like character, uh,
And personality.
yeah, personality
Yeah,
of the character.
exactly. And
Yeah.
that's exactly right. And we have to remember as writers that our characters are more than their bodies.
Hmm.
My favorite characterization in beginning screenplays, I don't know how to put this, but I see this so often that I'm almost waiting for it when I read. And that is the male lead will be ruggedly handsome. And the female lead will be beautiful but doesn't know it.
Oh, wow.
If you are using those descriptions, I would try for something different, because we see them over and over again in
Yeah.
screenplays that we read.
I had the pleasure of being interviewing Jay Moore once, and he played a character on Jerry Maguire, and we were talking about it, and he told me, the character, when he went in for the table read, the character had one word for the character description, and it was unctuous, and I was like, that is brilliant. I mean, just one, but that totally tells you who that character is.
Yeah.
One simple word. He said, I knew automatically how to play this character. He went in, did it, got the part. And when you see him in Jerry Maguire, you're like, yeah, that's an unctuous guy.